Hello, everyone. This is Tim Dugan from the Radio TCX podcast, doing commentary for this game from the 2017 Minnesota Regional Championship. This game was between myself on the left there in the red shirt against Andrew Latourelle, who went on to become the 2017 Minnesota Regional Champion. We played this game during the fifth round of Swiss, where Andrew and I were both undefeated with 5-0 records. I was playing a Miranda Donny Lothal Rebel build. Miranda Donny had twin laser turret, extra munitions, homing missiles, ray, ion bombs, Connernet, and advanced slam, coming in at 52 points. My Lothal Rebel had fire control system, auto blaster turret, proton torpedoes, Harrison Dulla, Sabine Wren, guidance chips, and seismic charges, coming in at 48 points. Andrew is flying a Rear Admiral Chirinau Decimator along with an Inquisitor TIE Advanced prototype. Rear Admiral Chirinau had Veteran Instincts, the Dauntless title, Engine Upgrade, Emperor Palpatine, Rebel Captive, and Ion Bombs, and his Inquisitor loadout was Push the Limit, Proton Rockets, the TIE V1 title, and Auto Thrusters, totaling 66 and 34 points respectively. During setup, Andrew won the toss, so he chose to give me initiative, meaning that for our matched pilot skill between Miranda and the Inquisitor, I would be moving first and shooting first. That also meant that I would have to place both my ships before Andrew placed either of his, so I had to kind of choose a setup here that was neutral enough that I could respond to wherever he was going to place his Inquisitor and Decimator. I opted to place the Ghost facing to the side. This is a strategy I use whenever I fly a Ghost to give me some versatility in how the first engagement's going to go, because I don't necessarily know which side of the board he's going to set up on. With the Ghost facing to the side, I have enough room here to just do a couple slow banks to the far edge of the board, or even 5K and face the other direction if he chooses to set up on the opposite side. I'm generally less worried about where I set up the K-Wing, just because the versatility of Slam gives me a lot of ability to reposition and change as I need to, so I can react pretty well to whatever he's got. Andrew chose a strong starting position. He has the Inquisitor in a position where he can fly perfectly straight and flank me as need be. He also has the Decimator in a very aggressive position, thanks to the 4 straight on the Decimator's dial and his engine upgrade. This guarantees that he'll be able to start shooting with the Decimator on turn 2, which is really beneficial to him here. He doesn't want to give me a lot of time to start stockpiling focus tokens on my Ray crew card. My opening maneuvers were pretty simple. I just did a 1 straight maneuver on the Ghost and took an evade action, and then did a 2 hard turn on Miranda, taking a focus action. Andrew sent the Inquisitor straight forward 5. He didn't bother to take any action since there wasn't going to be any shots fired this round, and he didn't need to use any of his repositioning actions. He followed that up with a 4 straight on the Decimator, followed by a bank boost. There are no shots, so I'm just going to bank the focus token onto the Ray card and get ready for the next round. Got me on the setup, man. Alright, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Too hard. So the Ghost performs a 2 hard turn in, and then I take a little while to determine what action I want to use. Andrew definitely has the advantage here. His setup was quite a bit better than mine. So my preference is to attack the Inquisitor, but I'm thinking here it's unlikely that I'm going to be able to actually have a primary weapon shot on the Inquisitor. So I'm deciding whether or not to take that evade to try and alleviate damage, or if I don't think I'm going to be shot at, I would rather take a target lock and start putting damage through on the Decimator. Target lock on the Decimator?
Yep.
Got it. So I opt for the target lock. At this point, I think it's more likely that he's going to try and focus fire on Miranda and try and take Miranda off the board. If he's able to kill Miranda before I'm able to get any of my ordnance or bombs out, it's very likely that his 2 remaining ships will be able to clean up the Ghost pretty quickly. Miranda's maneuver was a little harder to decide, and I think I ended up making a pretty poor choice here. I considered going 3 forward and slamming 3 forward, hoping to force a bump there so he wouldn't be able to shoot at me, but I figured on the off chance that he might anticipate that and maybe choose a 2 straight maneuver, I'd be better off taking the target lock and potentially firing that homing missile on him in this second round. Unfortunately for me, that wasn't the case. He performed a 4 straight maneuver, getting him easily to range 1. He takes a focus action and then pushes the limit to get a target lock, which gives him a free evade thanks to the TIE V1 title. His Decimator comes in aggressively, hoping here to get a shot on the Miranda Donny. It looks like it's range 2, meaning he'll be able to use his Rear Admiral Chirinau ability to change a focus result into a crit result, so he opts to take a target lock there and go real aggressive. At the start of combat, I moved my only focus token on the Ray crew card onto my Miranda because I'm going to take 2 shots here. The good news for me was that this range 2 shot was obstructed, so I got to roll an extra defense die, allowing me to evade up to 2 damage. Andrew rolls, uses his target lock, converts a focus result into a crit, so he generates a hit and a crit result. Chooses not to use Palpatine here, too.
We'll spend the focus.
Focus and evade. I spend the focus token to generate 2 evades, taking no damage from the Decimator, which is very lucky for me. Now I make the decision of who I'm going to shoot at here. I have the option of taking a range 1 primary shot on the Inquisitor, or a twin laser turret shot on the Decimator. Normally, a range 1 shot from Miranda can be very potent, especially if I choose to spend a shield and roll that extra attack die. But in this case, I'm really depending on those shields here because I am going to take a 5-dice proton rocket shot immediately after this.
Target lock.
No focus token here to modify, so I just have my target lock.
2 hits.
Generate 2 hit results, and then he can spend the evade token and avoids all the damage.
Great.
His shot with the Inquisitor now, proton rockets are going to come at me.
Okay.
5v1. And then I'll up that.
He uses Palpatine to change one of the dice results into a crit, and then focuses, so he has 4 hits and 1 crit.
Nothing?
I roll nothing, so I'm going to take 4 shields here and a face-up damage card.
Loose stabilizer.
Loose Stabilizer is a pretty bad critical to pull here. Now whenever I execute a white maneuver, I have to take a stress token, which really limits my options when it comes to using the slam action, because I'm really depending on these 2 banks and 2 hard turns, which are all white maneuvers on the K-Wing style. So after I perform a slam, I won't be able to use my action if I take a stress.
Primary.
No shot on the Inquisitor from the Ghost, so I just take a range 1 primary shot on the Decimator.
We're going to spend the target lock. We'll get it back with fire control.
Spend the target lock to reroll 1 die. So just take 4 shields off the Decimator. Going into turn 3 here, I really want to put out as much damage as possible on the Inquisitor. My main strategy here is to take the Inquisitor off the board. Even then, if I lose Miranda, if I still have the Ghost, thanks to my 5K and my Harrison Dilla crew card, it shouldn't be too hard to maintain my firing arc on the Decimator and push out that remaining damage. That being said, if I'm not able to kill the Inquisitor before Miranda dies, it's going to be really hard for me to force damage through because he'll be able to run away with the Inquisitor, reposition himself, and start taking those range 1 shots, thanks to the Inquisitor's special ability. I hard turned in with the Ghost just to keep that firing arc on the Inquisitor if possible, and then performed a 1 bank maneuver, so I was able to drop a counternet onto the Inquisitor. I had a couple options here, but that critical was really messing with me, not being able to perform white maneuvers without taking a stress token, so I just needed to make sure I drop this counternet, get both damage, 1 from the counternet, 1 from Sabine triggering, and also eliminate actions here. That's one of the advantages I had by having initiative, even though he can outposition me after the fact. The fact that I'm moving first means that I know exactly where he's going to be, and if I'm able to gauge my distances correctly, I can guarantee that the bomb's going to land on him. So here he takes 2 damage, and he's not able to perform actions thanks to the effective counternet. So Andrew performed a straight maneuver with his Decimator, which ended up bumping him into my VCX. This is actually really good because his shot on Miranda is still obstructed, and I need every advantage I can get here to keep Miranda alive. He utilizes his Dauntless title here, takes a stress, but is able to get a target lock on Miranda, and he still has modification on his focus result because of Chirinau's ability. Obstructed range 2 shot. So Andrew rolls 3 hit results here, but he decides to take an aggressive move to re-roll with his target lock, hoping to generate a focus result, which he can convert into a crit. And it actually happens to work out here. He gets a crit result there, so I'm going to take a hit and another critical.
Damage engine, hard turns are red.
Damage engine, another awful crit to pull on Miranda. Now all my hard turns are red, meaning I for sure am not going to be able to effectively use my slam to hard turn and move around. At this point, Miranda's down to a measly 2 hull, so I'm 1 shot away likely from being destroyed. I'm going to shoot on the Inquisitor here, hoping to push some more damage through, potentially killing it, but hopefully at least getting one more damage through and regenerating a shield here, because I'm going to need every shield I can get. First TLT shot misses. Second shot generates 2 hits. He uses auto thrusters to change one blank into an evade. And now he's deciding whether or not he wants to use Palpatine since he doesn't have any more tokens. He uses Palpatine to avoid both damage. So now it's not looking like the Inquisitor's likely going to die since I just have a range 2 unmodified 4-dice attack, which statistically generates just 2 hit results. I get lucky here because I generate 2 hits and a crit, and he only rolls 1 evade, which kills the Inquisitor, so a very fortunate break for me. Going into turn 4, there's still a very high likelihood that he's going to be able to kill my Miranda. Thanks to both of my crits, I can't move very fast, so if he gets even just 1 shot, there's a high likelihood he'll be able to take Miranda down. I'm just trying to, at this point, put out as much damage as I can with my VCX before Miranda dies to make the end game a little easier for me to take down that Decimator. 5k with the Ghost, which is only possible thanks to that Harrison Dulla crew card.
Reveal that.
I'm deciding here if I want to use one of my ion bombs or not, but I know for sure it's going to hit my Ghost, and it potentially might not even hit the Decimator, so I opt just to perform my maneuver.
Flip the crit down.
I use my action to flip my loose stabilizer crit down, so assuming that I'm able to survive this round, I'll be able to run away a little more effectively and save those precious points of MOV. Andrew performs a 2 straight on his Decimator. Andrew opts to perform a bank boost towards the Ghost. He decides to shoot at my Ghost, 4 dice versus no agility. So he generates 2 hits and a crit. So I lose 3 shields.
Checking for Miranda.
Checking range from Miranda.
Yes. Regen a shield.
I'm going to fire my twin laser turret, regen a shield on the first shot using Miranda's ability.
Damage. Okay.
Generates 1 damage thanks to TLT's effect. Second twin laser turret shot.
Second TLT.
Take a stress from Rebel Captive. 1 more damage. 10 hull left on the Decimator.
Range 1. Target one. Fire control will get it back. Only hit and crit.
2 hits and a crit.
Alright, so you've got 8 left.
The crit was a direct hit, so he has 6 hull remaining.
Oh, we got 6 left. Okay, yep. 6 left. Fire control reacquires. Yep. You get reveal that.
Deciding whether or not to drop my seismic charge.
We'll drop the seismic.
I figure he's going to be pretty close to it. There's always potential that he'll do a hard turn after this maneuver clears and then boost away, but I figure this is the only chance I'll have to do any damage with it, so might as well drop it here. Now, you'd think I'd perform a 5k turn here, except I still have my proton torpedo, which means I can use my rear firing arc. And since I still have a target lock from my fire control system, I'll be able to use that effectively and potentially even drop a crit through on the Decimator. Miranda performs a 2 straight. I'm just trying to keep my distance at this point and try not to lose those precious Miranda points. She's an expensive ship, 52 points, so I'd rather she not die. So he drops down his Decimator's Ion Bomb, which will definitely trigger and hit my Ghost, but no damage there, just 2 Ion tokens.
I'm assuming you want to be as close to me as possible. It doesn't really matter. It'll trigger either.
It's gonna, yeah, just whatever.
Forms a 3 bank maneuver, which puts him right on top of the seismic charge, and it doesn't seem like a boost is going to clear that, so he opts not to boost.
Sucks he's up. And I'm gonna eat a proton. Maybe 2 damage here. I don't think I get this game over with. I don't know if I can boost that.
You can check. You can see it if you want. So they'll resolve. I think they resolve in initiative order. It doesn't really matter. So I'll take 2 ions here.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Ghost takes 2 Ion tokens, and then 2 damage from the seismic, 1 from the seismic triggering, and then 1 from Sabine Wren triggering. Takes a range 2 shot.
Up to a crit.
2 hits and a crit, takes 3 shields.
You guys, this game, I gotta win the next one.
Yeah.
You didn't joust like you should have.
We'll just proton torpedo.
Yeah.
Using the Proton Torpedo from the rear firing arc, if I can generate 4 hit or crit results, that'll destroy the Decimator. And there it is. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, please share it and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you liked our content, please consider listening to our podcast, Radio TCX, available on iTunes and Podbean.